Hello, welcome to Sound and Fury Book Reviews. As usual, I am Tina. Today I'm doing a book review of Kenai by Dave Dobson. This is a book that came out in 2023. It's a sci-fi, it's self-published. I received this book as part of the SPSFC3, where I am a judge. It is a finalist, and a very worthy one at that. As usual, I went into this book entirely blind, and I was more than pleasantly surprised by the concept and story. And yes, since my wrap-up video last week, I have learned how to pronounce the word properly. I thought it was Kenai, but it's Kenai, I guess. And it's there's a town in Alaska, I think, that is called this, and I think it's also the name of a language. I can't remember. I read this last week, and now I can't remember. My brain does not work. So, if you love unique alien cultures, lone wolf characters doing it on their own, space marines, weird and mysterious ruins, and a subtle world build, you will enjoy this. I think the reason I enjoyed it so much was because it reminded me of classic sci-fi, but without the problematic stuff. So, what is it about? A planet steeped in mystery. Jess Miko is long past her days as a space marine, with all the glory of that time tarnished beyond repair by what came after. Trying to rebuild from the ashes, she's taken a job as a security guard on Kenai, a lonely world far from the council systems. It's supposed to be easy duty, quiet and peaceful on a docile world with no real threats, watching over an archaeological dig on a site built by a race long vanished. Betrayed and attacked by forces unknown, and finding that nothing on Kenai makes sense, Jess is plunged into a desperate fight for survival that leads her deep into the mystery of Kenai's past, and deep into the hardship and paradox the planet imposes on all who call it home. As I said before, this book essentially has all the tropes I love about sci-fi, but throw in a female main character who may or may not be queer, and a plot that isn't Save the Universe, and that's both the icing and decoration on the cake for me. This book might not be for everyone. While there is action, the plot moves at a rather languid pace and follows a trajectory that, while not confusing, is one of those mind-bending concepts where you can choose whether to think deeply about it or just go with it. We're talking time travel here, folks, but not the way that you think. And to be honest, time travel is one of those tropes that is really hard to make work without either cannibalizing its own narrative or coming off as ridiculous. This book manages to balance these things so that A, the repetition of a few events was done in a way that didn't feel repetitive, and B, it still left you wondering about determinism versus fate. Tied to this, Kenai itself is one of my favorite types of sci-fi worlds, seemingly abandoned but with mysterious ancient ruins. Jess is here to guard a scientist who is studying the ruins, and while this isn't an archaeology story, kind of unfortunately, the concept it morphs into is so very interesting. The concept is what reminded me of classic sci-fi because it's bizarre and somewhat experimental. The best thing about this book is trying to understand what the hell is going on. And when you do figure it out, there are a few more twists and turns to keep it engaging. I absolutely loved the main character, Jess, as she was very much the stoic badass, hiding a compassionate and vulnerable person. There are flashbacks to her life before this mission, which help to solidify her character and the world building. We actually get minimal on the outside universe, but those flashbacks and the way Jess thinks of her circumstances broaden it out in a way that is organic and expertly done. I love stories that are set outside a wider universe, but that are still impacted by it. It gives the setting layers and depth. And then we have the alien culture. I adored them to no end, and their societal setup was fascinating. I again can't say too much about them for spoilers' sake, but they are definitely not your classic type of alien in terms of physiology. And no, I did not ship the human and the alien. This is a very rare thing, and yeah, it would just be weird. Kind of like, Evil Dead weird. Overall, this was my favorite book I read of the competition, and it is already a top contender for my favorite book for June. I absolutely loved it. I will definitely be checking out other works by Dave Dobson, and I very much would like to commend him on a book that I thought was absolutely fantastic. And I will say, even though I said I wasn't going to give rankings, I gave this book a 9.5 out of 10. I absolutely loved it. So, thank you for watching, and yeah.